Okay, well, I really appreciate you all waiting around and bearing with me while I was trying to figure this crazy thing out. I'm hopeful this is going to work well, and so we're going to give this another go, and we're going to call it part one of the ultimate guide to great, really, their secret sources for off market real estate deals. So I really do appreciate you guys being patient and understanding, especially with technical difficulties. I am not a technical guy. Ask me a real estate question, I can probably answer it. When it comes to tech, it's kind of like a thermostat on the wall. It either works or it doesn't. So I have been in the real estate industry since 1981. And over all these many years, I have found and or been introduced to 23 great off-market ways to find terrific real estate deals. I mean, these, in most cases, are really kind of secret ways. In some cases, they're going to be as obvious as the nose on the end of your face, but you may just have never really thought of them in this way. Now, no matter really what kind of real estate market you are in, you're always going to be able to find great real estate deals. I'm very clear that the best real estate deal out there happens every single day that ends in a Y. So yeah, they happen every day, even in the market like we have today, a hot real estate market for just about everyone. Now look, there's 23 different ways to find real estate, right? And I get that. So that takes a lot to go through and to go over. I know you're busy. I definitely want to respect your time, but I still want to be able to provide you with real, usable content and information. So what I'm going to do is break this list up into two parts. This is part one, which I was hoping to have done yesterday. And next Tuesday, please mark your calendar, next Tuesday, July 23rd at 1 p.m., I'll be doing part two. So if you're kind enough, by the way, to give me your name and your email address, I will return that favor and I will send you a copy of this entire guide to off-market real estate deals. I mean, you'll get everything. It's that simple. You'll get the transcript as soon as I've got it back, the complete guide. As a matter of fact, I've got a couple of nice little surprises for you as well that I think you're going to really like and you'll be able to instantly use. Truly, you'll get it, you'll print it off, read it over a few times, and be able to instantly start using this. So, I would love to begin with a short quote. And I've shared this quote with a few other people before. I really wish I could remember where it was that I happened to be at when I first heard it. And I really wish I knew who said it because I'd love to give them credit. It's one of those things that I'm sure we've all been in a similar situation. You're somewhere and you wind up hearing something, you're taking notes, and gosh almighty, the speaker says something that resonates with you so much, you just lose track of time. It's 10, 15, 20 minutes later, you re-engage with the conversation that's happening from the stage because what was said is just rattling around in your head. And this is what it was for me. It's a very short, but it's a two-part quote. The first part is you earn income from doing. You see, listing homes, selling homes, flipping homes, right? That's doing. You get paid one time and then you got to go do it all over again. So you earn that income from the doing. You create and generate wealth from owning. Now, by the way, I added the generate. What I heard was you create wealth from owning. That's the flip side of the same coin, right? You get paid over and over and over and over again, really from doing something one time. Something like owning a great piece of rental real estate. So, what I'm hopeful is that during our brief time together today, you will be able to discover a total of 23 ways to find great deals that you can use to, well, maybe take more listings, to make more sales, and for investment purposes. Now, before we move on, though, I really feel I need to be crystal clear, okay? I'm not speaking to just anybody and everybody out there, although I know that some people may stumble upon this. This presentation really is for you if you are a real estate agent. Because if you're a real estate agent, you are definitely the person I am looking to speak to. I'm not doing this, like I say, for everybody that's out there. If you have an open mind, and that's important, you have to have an open mind for what we're talking about, okay? Because I'm asking you to start to see things and think of things a little differently, okay? Maybe a lot differently for some. And look, if you are okay with a little extra legwork, because, hey, the reality of it is, there is a little more work that you're having to do for some of these ways than there may be for others. And I get it. And I'm sure once you start seeing some of these, you'll understand. And listen, if you enjoy a challenge, I mean, if you really kind of enjoy that process of going through something that's maybe there's a little unknown, but coming out on the other side winning, hey, if you enjoy a challenge, then you're in the right place. And this is important, if you are a go-getter. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, okay? But if you're lazy, very comfortable, very complacent, hey, I get it. And that's perfectly okay. It really is. Just be honest with yourself, okay? Just be honest and just say, hey, I'm not looking to do anything more than I absolutely have to. And that's cool. Just be honest. Click away from here. Don't waste your time. Go to YouTube. Check out some crazy cat videos. You'll feel better. Now, before we go any further, though, I really feel I need to answer the one question that's really in your head. Now, there are some people that are watching this that are friends of mine. I know them, and so they already know the answer to this. But I'm guessing that a lot of you there have no idea. Well, let me see if this makes sense. Does this sound like the question in your head? Right? I mean, hey, why should I listen to you? That's a valid question. Fair enough. So, quickly, the brief story is, hey, my name is Jesse S. Lennon III. I'm the president and principal broker of Pioneer Realty, and I'm the founder of Rich Agent Coaching. That's my picture. It's a fairly recent picture, and I put that in there for shock value more than anything else. Now that you're awake, we can move on. Just so you'll know, I am a real estate professional. I really did get started reading, learning, and understanding real estate back in 1981. That was when I was 16. In 1983, I was 18, and I bought my first investment property with my dad. It was a flip. We bought it, fixed it, sold it, and I made about $20,000. I think it was like $20,000. For some reason, $383 sticks in my head. But gosh, that was quite a few years ago. However, in 1983, for an 18-year-old guy, $20,000 was a lot of dang money. It's a pretty fair amount of money today. Well, I kind of got bit by the real estate bug. And what we did is we bought a few homes over the next few years, and we fixed them up and sold them. Now, they didn't use the term flip then, but, they do now. Moving on, in 1989, my dad and I started Pioneer Realty. Now, we were a full-service firm. We were helping people buy homes, sell homes. We did a little bit of property management, not very much at the beginning. And within about a year and a half to 2 years, I became a pretty consistent 20 to 24 transaction a year real estate agent. That was pretty respectable, but I was going a little goofy. I really, truly was. So in 1998, I hired my first real estate coach, and I've been very fortunate. I have had a lot of very good real estate coaches over that time frame. I still have coaches today for real estate, for investment, sales, marketing, business, and in some cases, just a great group of guys that hold me accountable to doing what I say I'm going to do. And that's important, I think, if you're looking to grow. So, in 2002, I bought my first single-family rental. And this was a single-family rental. Actually, I had it as a listing. The gentleman really wanted to sell and actually approached me about buying it. And I explained to him, well, there's really not enough profit in there for me to buy it and sell it. He said, well, what about if you kept it as a rental? I mean, that's the obvious, well, duh, right? I still have that home today, as a matter of fact, and it cash flows phenomenally well. In any case, that was the first year, 2002, that I had actually reached a huge milestone for me. I sold 100 homes that year. And for the next 6 years, I was at or over 100 transactions each year. Now, I have to pause here for just a second because the honest to gosh truth of it is, I had an event happen in my life in 2006 that changed drastically the trajectory for me and my life going forwards. I hope you never have to go through anything like this. And I'm going to be very brief, but just I've had people ask, and so I just wanted to share this with them and thought this might be a reasonable time to do so. I had taken my young family to Aruba for the first time. It was a 10-day vacation, and if you have never been to Aruba, I truly cannot recommend it high enough. It's a beautiful island. Everyone is very warm and inviting. They speak 5 languages there on that island. And we just had a blast, and we've been back quite a few times since. However, within about 16 to 18 hours of the plane landing, bringing us back home from that wonderful vacation, my wife was in an auto accident. I happened to have been on a few appointments earlier in the morning and was taking a shortcut coming back to my office and didn't realize it at the time. Her car was in a field. The emergency personnel were actually behind me. Well, my wife's a nurse, and they took her right past the hospital she works at to the main trauma hospital here in the area, MCV, Medical College of Virginia. We spent the next 5 days in what they refer to as STICU, which is surgical trauma intensive care. There's no interior walls inside of STICU, by the way, just curtains. So I had a lot of time to think over those next 5 days, and you know what dawned on me? I had enough rental income coming in. If I flipped maybe 1, possibly 2 homes a year, I had enough income to equal selling 100 homes. I thought, it just never dawned on me. It's sort of that blinding flash of the obvious. It just hadn't occurred. So throughout 2007, I worked towards wrapping up my business. And at the end of 2007, into the very first quarter of 2008, I did wrap up my business and I became a full-time investor. Now, today, I currently own over 80 rental units. And I don't say that to brag. I don't have a big ego. These are just a few of the properties. I have mainly residential, but I do have a few commercial. The reason I say that is because, you see, I successfully made the transition from earning income from doing to earning income, receiving income, creating wealth from owning. And truly, I want you to think about that for a moment. What this means is huge. You see, no more pain in the butt clients. I have money coming in without me having to show up every day. I have the freedom to do what you want, when you want, and with who you want. And for me, the biggest thing was to leave a lasting and a growing legacy for generations to come. Now, that's pretty cool. At least for me, I think that's pretty cool. And you see, that's really why I created and had this idea for Rich Agent Coaching. Rich Agent Coaching is exclusively for real estate agents. And the purpose is to provide real-world tools, tips, techniques, and resources to make your income, really, truly your income, and your investment dreams a reality. See, we are simply laser focused on this one goal. And it's a simple goal. It's to create 500 multimillionaire real estate agents by 2026. And no, that's not a picture of me with the cigar, but I kind of like the idea of where that's going, right? In any case, let's go over 11 of the 23 ways to find great real estate deals. And remember, now these are ways that you can find deals that you can use to, well, if you want, take that as a listing, okay? Gosh, you could use it as a sale. And, well, you could use it as an investment property as well. The first is, but it isn't a real secret, okay? And here's why I say that. Loopnet is the world's largest commercial MLS. And it's true, they have real estate listed all over the world. It's global. And you're going to find things like apartments, warehouse, retail, you name it, it's on Loopnet. It's really a great resource. And the interesting thing about it is not just is it real estate agents, it's also for sale by owners. I mean, individuals that own a piece of commercial real estate can list their property for sale on Loopnet. It also has property for rent. The only real problem I have with Loopnet is that a couple of years ago, CoStar bought them. And up until that time, they were amazing. Love Loopnet. After CoStar bought them, it's really not as great now as it used to be, and here's why. Unless the agent or the seller pays a fee, there's really no guarantee that that property is going to show up in a search result. Now, I don't have a problem with, charging a fee, but it seems to me if you're going to allow somebody to list it and it's going to be free versus paid, maybe have the paid show up higher. Maybe the free is buried somewhere towards the bottom, but it ought to be there. Once CoStar bought them, and by the way, watch out for CoStar. Should you have a property listed either for rent or for sale and you put it on Loopnet, they will contact you and ask for free information from you about that property. The problem is they will not reciprocate. And what I mean by that is, hey, they're asking you for free information, but when you want to try and get some information from them, like looking at things on Loopnet, making sure you're seeing the whole list, they're not going to make that available for free. They charge you if you want to see everything. I just think that's kind of crappy. But hey, they are the only game in town, at least for the moment. Next are pre-foreclosures. And pre-foreclosures, really, I love them, okay? A lot less competition because there's a ton of people that will just simply never go knock on someone's door. Great for me. These are properties where the owner's behind, in cases it's an attorney, that is advertising the property for sale, letting everybody know this individual, the owner, is behind on their payments, and the bank or the mortgage company is going to be auctioning the property off on this day and time unless that individual gets current on their house payments. In most cases, they are not, but we always are hopeful that they will. You hate to see people losing a home to foreclosure, but it happens. It's simply a fact of life. This can be a great way to reach the owner, and if you have enough time, list the property for sale if the bank is willing to work with you and with the seller in getting that property sold, therefore avoiding that foreclosure. In some cases, the people, though, and this happens so often, literally this morning I'm speaking with a lady in my parents' neighborhood that just didn't want to talk about it. Nope, thanks, nope, not interested, not interested. That's what I was hearing her say. The other people that you speak with are the ones that are expecting the 11th hour miracle to magically appear and save them. Now, I'm a religious individual. I am a Christian. But it is amazing how often I hear people say, God's going to take care of me. Well, I believe that God will take care of you, but you have to be doing something to help yourself out. And in some cases, I believe that miracle they're looking for may just be you showing up to help them to avoid that foreclosure, to further damage to their credit. So be that as it may. And by the way, watch out for those subscription services that are out there that are telling you for, however much it is every month, you can sign up with them and they will send you leads, lists of properties that are going to foreclosure. Everyone I've ever spoken with that has gotten one of those lists has been sorely disappointed because in just about every case, the property has already gone to foreclosure, and in some cases, it went to foreclosure 1.5 to 2 years before it showed up on that list. That's kind of a crappy thing, but there are services out there that are a bit unscrupulous. Now, the next logical progression from pre-foreclosures is foreclosure attorney websites. Okay, and so when you are reviewing those foreclosure notices, those ads, you'll find that just about every auction is being held by an attorney. And just about every one of those attorneys, if they do a lot of foreclosure work, on their website, they will list the upcoming sales. Most of them fall into two categories. They either list them by locality, city or county, or they list them by the sale date. Now, me personally, I kind of would rather see that list by locality, but everybody's different as to how they feel that they need to best present it. And you can find some great opportunities at their attorney websites. Hey, you may have missed the notice that they had published. Now, the next one is actually at the foreclosure auction. And just about every one of these auctions are held at the city or county courthouse. And I really highly encourage you to go to a few of the auctions, check it out, see how it works. Just be an observer, maybe take some notes. I'll be honest with you, I think it's a wonderful opportunity to meet some terrific individuals, especially if you really want to do more of these. Introduce yourself to the attorney. Don't get there at a little late or at the auction, and if the attorney's running a little late, don't try and get up there and interrupt the flow of things. Just wait till they're done. Introduce yourself. Ask any questions you might have. The best thing, though, truthfully, ask the people that are actively bidding. You'll be surprised at how open and how honest those individuals are. They're just really people just like you and me. So I will say this. I do remember that occasionally, and this goes back decades, you will find that they would do, in some cases, auctions at the actual property, like actually at the house, as an example. They stopped doing that decades ago. It is quite rare, but today I do still see, occasionally, attorneys that will have the foreclosure auction in their office. And I guess it just makes it, more convenient for them. But definitely read the notices in advance, watch how they work, and don't be afraid to go up there and talk to the people and ask questions. I think you'd find them very honest and open and be very willing to share with you and answer whatever questions you have. Hey, they're good people just like you, people just like me. If no one buys it at the auction, the bank or the mortgage company is taking it back. And that's a pretty simple, that makes sense, right? They held the auction. Somebody's getting this property back. It's either going to somebody that bid on it at the auction, or it's going back to the bank. It becomes what is considered a non-performing asset. You'll also hear the term REO, real estate owned. The smaller banks, the community banks, they don't have the systems in place and the staff in place to do things like the FHA loans, the Fannie Mae, the Freddie Mac, that kind of stuff. The loans that those guys and gals are taking back are loans that are considered portfolio loans. They keep them in-house, so the people are always paying the bank. The bank doesn't sell that loan. The smaller banks always have a list of properties that they would be glad to send you. And they typically will list, if you need to speak with, if you're interested in that property, if you need to speak with someone in the bank, or if you need to speak with a local real estate agent. So simply reach out to them, get a copy of that list, and then, hey, if you would like, it could be a great source for listings. Find out how to be added to that list, how to become a listing agent for the bank. Now, like I say, you'll also find that they will, in most cases, or in a lot of cases, sell them directly to you. I have bought property from banks, both directly from the bank as well as through a real estate agent representing the bank. Now, the bigger banks, they're the ones that have the systems, they have the staff. If they get a property back, they will list it with an agent. I've not seen them to keep a list of properties. You can sometimes find it like on their website, they'll have a list, but you're not dealing directly with someone at the bank. It gets on that list only after it's been listed with a real estate agent. I know because I used to be that agent for a fairly large bank that had a pretty big presence here in the Richmond area. They also will act as servicers for some of the larger, more conventional, if you think of it, types of financing like FHA or HUD, VA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. When those properties go to foreclosure, or properties that had that kind of loan on them, when they go to foreclosure, the bank takes it back, but they're only holding it for a really short period of time. As long as they have followed the policies, the procedures that are spelled out by, as an example, Fannie Mae, they're going to turn that property back over to Fannie Mae, and they get reimbursed, they get made whole, and now it's up to Fannie Mae to go sell. Just like on those pre-foreclosure lists, there are services and companies that would love to sell you a subscription to a list of foreclosed properties, do not waste your money on those. You can go to HUD Home Store. You can go to Fannie Mae's website, Freddie Mac's website. You can go to those websites. They all have a list of properties. They give you some information about them, and they'll tell you the real estate agent to speak with that has it listed for sale. It's available. It's out there. It's in the open. No big surprise, no big secret. And I think those can be great ways to find properties. The next one is one that's just as obvious and plain as day, right as obvious as the nose at the end of your face. And look, you ride by these things almost every day in the normal course of your day. You know, when you're driving past, maybe showing property here, going to a listing appointment there, running an errand, whatever, you probably ride by vacant property. And these are properties that, and you guys know you've seen them, they don't have to look as bad as the one in the picture, right? But they're vacant. They've got overgrown yards, really high grass up to like a giraffe's butt maybe, boarded windows. There's just a ton of disrepair. Now granted, sometimes there's not as obvious until you really get out of your car or your truck and walk up close, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that needs work. But these can be phenomenal opportunities for listings, for sales, and for investments. I cannot tell you the number of vacant properties that I've bought just from riding down the road, doing that legwork, and finding the owner and buying the property. You really can get some great deals that way. Now, this is kind of I like to think of it as a secret source. And it's a little bit of well, I know it's one that some feel a little weird about. And I get that. But you know, look, as a real estate agent, we help people buy homes. And in most every case, it takes two incomes to qualify for that loan to buy that home. One just can't financially swing it by themselves. So in that divorce, if the husband gets the home or the wife gets the home, a lot of times they cannot make that deal work, if you will. They have to sell the property. I mean, sometimes they have to sell it just to finalize the divorce, because maybe the person, even though they might financially be able to swing it, they have some credit issues that would stop them from refinancing and getting a new loan in their name. And the other person wants out of that debt obligation. They want out from underneath of that burden. And I get that too. By the way, not just homes get wrapped up and have to get sold as a result of a divorce. Right now, there is a small apartment community here in my area that is being sold as a result of a divorce to be able to finalize the divorce. And hey, my office building, I bought that back in, I think it was about 96, 97, was as a result of a divorce. Now, funny story, as I found out later, before we closed, apparently it was a pretty bitter and very animated couple that were going through the divorce, and the bankruptcy judge got so tired of having them in front of, not bankruptcy, the divorce judge got so tired of seeing them in front of him that he just said, look, we're going to sell this property, and then you guys are going to go your own separate ways. So you can find commercial that gets sold as a result of a divorce as well. So these can be great ways. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering, okay, how do I do that? I get it. How do I do that? A great way, I think, is simply reach out to some attorneys in your area that specialize in doing divorce. Or at least they do a lot of it and they advertise. It's a simple introduction. You call and introduce yourself, explain to them who you are and what you do, and ask if you would be kind enough, or if they would be kind enough, to think of you and maybe refer you to any of the clients that they have that need to sell as a result of a divorce. Follow that up with a nice handwritten letter, maybe a few times a year. I think from one of the people that I've spoken with that has actually done a lot of this, what they done, I thought it was a great idea too. They would send the attorneys nice little gift baskets, just kind of unannounced little surprises. And I thought that was a great idea. It's like, hey, thanks for thinking of me, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. Now, the next source or secret for finding just really amazing truly amazing real estate deals is probate. And I know that a lot of people, just like divorce, are like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. It's a fact of life. Every day, people pass away. It's just a fact of life. And for those that pass away with real estate, their heirs now have to do something with it. The will quite often direct them as to what to do. And in most cases, it's, hey, sell the home, pay off my bills, and divide the proceeds amongst yourselves. Now, occasionally, you will see an heir keep maybe like a vacation or a weekend home. And here in my market, about 40, well, somewhere between 40 minutes and an hour away, there's an area there with a lot of little like weekend cottages, getaway homes, things like that. So you will see families often keep those to, continue to use, but then they sell mom and dad's like main home, if you will. What you'll find is that, as you can well imagine, this is an emotionally charged event that takes place, the passing of a family member. I think that there's a right way and a wrong way to approach people. I have helped a lot of my clients over the years help sell mom or dad's home after, mom or dad pass away. I've bought plenty of properties through that were probate, if you will. They needed to sell to settle the estate. What I have heard is there are apparently people that really aren't approaching this right. And what I mean by that is simple. They would send a little letter or maybe even make a phone call and say, hey, and I'll just go through an example. In essence, it's, hey, my name is, and I'm with, and I saw the obituary in the paper. Sorry to hear of your loss. And so are you thinking of selling the real estate? That's really not the way to approach people, unless you're trying to piss them off. If you're trying to piss them off, it's a great way to do it. A better way to do it, and I have a really good friend of mine on the opposite side of the country here that is making a killing doing, in essence, this very thing. He sends a very nice letter, very well worded, and he sends it to the person that is in charge of the estate. Could be an attorney, could be a family member, but whoever the administrator is, he'll send them a very nice letter. And in essence, it says, hi, my name is, and I wanted to express my deepest sympathies, and please accept my condolences on the loss of your loved one, mom, dad, fill in the name. Now is not the time, I am sure. However, when things settle down and you have had the opportunity to clear your head, I would love the opportunity to speak with you about the real estate, the house the office building, whatever. Please call and, here's the name and number. Something just very nice, very polite. Acknowledge, hey, this is really a challenging time in your life, because it is a challenging time in their life. And you're just trying to make sure that they know you are there when they are ready to talk. And you're not sending that letter out right off the bat. You got to give that just a little time. Now, the next way to go to it is something that a lot of people never really think about. So this is why this is on here as a secret as well, and that's bird dogs. And look, I don't mean the dog, all right? These are people in the area that know a lot of people. I mean, they're out, in some cases, they're always walking around the area. They know a lot of people. They grew up in the area, whatever. They're also those service providers, like postal carriers, UPS drivers, FedEx drivers, things like that. You want to incentivize them to get you the information you need, okay? Which could be just, hey, just give me an address. That's all I need. In some cases, if it's maybe the person that, grew up in the area, knows everybody in the area, they can maybe even provide you with some valid and some accurate contact info. But, incentivize it with maybe a gift card. Heck, sometimes it's just a very nice thank you card. But give them something nice that just lets them know that you really appreciate them thinking of you, and thanks so much for calling. I have bought property using this technique as well. Actually, out of all 23, I think there's only one way that I haven't bought real estate. I think other than that, I think everything else I have. I just haven't been able to successfully close on the other. I found properties, I've made offers, just for whatever reason. So everything here is not stuff that is just made up that I think sounds good. These are ways that I have personally used. Other friends of mine from all over the country have used and has worked well. The next one are REI Groups. And that's not REI like the outdoor, recreational company. This is real estate investor groups. Okay, and these groups typically meet monthly, and they meet all over the country. You'll find a lot of like-minded individuals show up there in all ranges or all parts of the spectrum, from people that are just starting, they're thinking about investing, to people that have been investing for decades, that have huge portfolios, that just are a wealth of knowledge. And I found of all of the REI groups that I have ever attended, everyone is very open, very willing to share, and really don't mind helping answer questions for others. In these groups, you can find buyers for listings. And by the way, don't go in there thinking that a listing is a great deal if it's $3,000 or $5,000 under market. No, it has to be substantially discounted. So please don't waste the group members' time with that. I mean, if it's a real solid deal, they'd love to hear about it. But if it's $5,000, maybe $10,000, that's not a deal. You'll also find investors that you can work with, maybe bringing opportunities to them, and that you may be able to now turn around after they've bought the property to fix up and sell possibly. You can be the listing agent for them. For me personally, if another real estate agent brings me a deal, hey, if it's something I'm going to fix and flip, I dance with the one that brung me. I give it back to them to list. Yeah, I can do it myself, but that's just how I think. I want to make sure that person is well taken care of, and I want to treat them right. So, hey, they can bring me more deals, right? You'll also find other investors that may have a great deal under contract, but maybe they got too many other opportunities and things going on. They can't close on this one, but they didn't want to let the deal go, so they may be willing to sell that contract, obviously for a reasonable fee, as long as it's reasonable, and let you get that great opportunity and take that great deal. So you can find just a host of different ways to profit from going to REI groups, not just the educational events and educational sources. Like I say, you meet some great people there too, and some I've had dear friendships with now for quite a good number of years. Now, this next group, attorneys, I know as soon as you say the word attorney, no. Attorneys are good people. I've got some great friends that are attorneys. There's also some attorneys out there that just are a real pain in the butt, but more often than not, listen, they're good people just like you and me. And here's something that you probably haven't thought about. Attorneys have people confide in them all day, every day. I mean, they're talking with attorneys, and in most cases, attorneys will know if a person needs to sell a piece of real estate in advance of it hitting the market. If you can get yourself a reputation as being a very honest, a very straightforward, basically a do what you say you're going to do type of person, you will naturally get the occasional call from attorneys as well as from their clients directly. And it can be just as simple as letting the attorneys that you come in contact with know what you do and how you can help. Now, I know that sounds weird because you're thinking, well, these guys and gals, they know me. The attorney knows me. True, but how many real estate agents do the attorneys see? If you deal with that attorney and that attorney does real estate, the lion's share of their business is probably real estate. So they see real estate agents all the time. You guys and gals are looked at as kind of a homogenous group at that point. Do something to set yourself apart. And that can be as simple as making sure that you tell them they know that you buy real estate, you invest in real estate, you work with investors, and may be able to help their client if they have a client that needs to sell quickly or maybe has something they really need to get rid of. You can help that client. I would suggest not just having that conversation and leaving it alone, but have that conversation and follow it up with a very nice handwritten note. Could be a little thank you letter. Hey, thanks for taking a few moments to talk with me. I hope I didn't hold you up the other day. Just as a follow-up, as a reminder, I buy real estate. I help other people buy and sell real estate and would love the opportunity to work for you or any of your clients, or maybe be interviewed by you or one of your clients if the need arises, should the need arise, when the need arise, what have you. Phrase it how it makes sense to you. Let's face it, those are the words that came out of my head, may not be the words that came out of yours. This is probably a good place to stop for today. I think I've been going now for about 45 minutes or so, roughly. That seems about right. But I do want you to please mark your calendar. This coming Thursday, I will be having a little bit of oral surgery, so I'm hopeful that by Tuesday I'll be able to speak without cheeks being too swollen and sounding weird. But please mark your calendar for Tuesday, July 23rd at 1 p.m. I will be doing part 2 of the Ultimate Secret Guide to Great Off-Market Real Estate Deals. And listen, I really hope that you take me up on my offer to get your own free copy of the Ultimate Guide to Great Off-Market Real Estate Deals. It's so simple. It really is simple. All you have to do is go to the website that is showing above, www.richagentcoaching.com/off-market deals, name, email address, and I'll be sending you, as soon as I finish getting it transcribed, your own personal copy of the Ultimate Guide to Great Off-Market Real Estate Deals. It really is that simple. Oh, and by the way, I really appreciate you very much taking a few moments out of your day, and I'm very sorry while I was presenting this, I was not looking at any kind of a feed to see what kind of questions there may be. So if you leave me or have left any comments, I will look and will respond accordingly. Just give me a couple of days to do that. But also, please know that you can email me at jesse@richagentcoaching.com. That's JESSE at richagentcoaching.com. Listen, thanks so much again for being here with me. I hope you have an awesome, awesome day, and I look forward to speaking with you again in about 1 week. Take care.